I know you've heard a lot recently about Trumpcare, the healthcare repeal bills in the House and the Senate, and how disastrous they would be for working Americans and families. But I wanted to take a second to put it all in perspective, to explain just how these bills would impact your bottom line and the pocketbooks of your friends, your neighbors, and your families. Let's start with the most talked about number, 22 million. That's the number of individuals who will lose access to affordable and quality health care under the Senate Republican plan. 22 million people. That's the populations of Michigan, New Jersey, and Oregon combined. Just imagine that. The entire populations of those states would just not have health care if Republicans have their way. There are other numbers that have been thrown around a lot during this debate, like the amount of tax credits Americans receive to help them afford quality health care. These credits are essential for seniors, working families, and those living in poverty to get help with the high cost of health insurance. Let's consider what would happen to an individual in Queens, New York, my hometown. Right now, a 60-year-old making $30,000 a year receives just under $4,000 to help them afford health insurance. Under the Republican bill, it would drop to $2,400. That's a difference of $1,570. Doesn't sound like that much? Well, to working families, $1,500 is the difference between financial stability and financial insecurity. Take this for example. The average American spends $4,000 on groceries a year. If families have to spend another $1,500 each year on health care, that means there is less money for food. And believe me, for working families, their budget often means it's a decision between one of the two. There is another number it's critical that Americans understand, so they truly see why Democrats like myself are fighting so hard against these bills. It's 50%. That's the percent of Americans who have pre-existing conditions. And before the Affordable Care Act, they were frequently rejected when applying for new health insurance coverage. In fact, here's another number, 30. That's the number of pre-existing conditions that insurance companies almost always denied coverage for in the past. Republicans want you to believe them when they say their bill won't hurt Americans with pre-existing conditions. But it will. This bill takes us backward. It allows states to opt out of enforcing rules that companies and insurance plans must provide basic coverage for basic medical problem ailments. And when I say basic, I mean basic. Asthma, acne, and pregnancy are all considered pre-existing conditions. I know Americans want Congress to work together, and I know they want lawmakers to put aside politics to grow the economy, create better paying jobs, and expand opportunities. I know that, and I'm for that. But I will not help Republicans repeal this law. It's just too critical. Being able to access high quality health care is a right, and I'm going to fight for that right for you.